Right. This is working out as a beginner. I am Burley. I'm the owner of the gym community. And today I'm going to be talking about working as a beginner. It was originally a webinar and Q&A server, but because of my inability to set up my audio properly, I have to re-record this. So, let's get started. What I'm going to be going over, just a little bit about our community, how we should define goals when it comes to working out, the do's and don'ts working out, just a couple general ones. Workout splits, everything from less than 4 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 day splits. Weights and cardio, staying consistent, progress, and adaptation. Excuse me. All right, about us. So we are basically, I started this community back in April 2022 to be a place for people, especially teenagers, to come and get real quality advice in real time, aiming to provide exercise science and nutritional information at zero cost to consumer. And I hope that I can help as many people as possible that find our server. Now, next on the list. We're currently at 2,700 people. At the time that we originally had the webinar, I looked quick. We are around 2,760, so we'll increase. Looking forward to the growth. 3,000 just around the corner. All right, goals and objectives. So, one of the most important things when trying to make any new sustainable habit is to define clear goals and objectives. If you don't do so, then you might either not be progressing towards anything, wasting a lot of time, or you might be doing the wrong things. So, what is there to consider? Well, first is our why. Everyone has a reason they got into the gym. It's unique to them. Some people share this reason. Generally, every why has a story. Now, if you're in the community and you want to share yours, we always love to hear it. Good story. But this is one of the most important factors to creating a long, sustainable habit. Now, when? When do you plan to exercise? What is your schedule? How many days a week can you commit to the gym? So why is this important? So when we pick a split, we want to make sure that we are going X amount of days so that we can track progress. If we only have 3 days one week, 5 days the next, maybe we want to stick with what we can guarantee. Keep yawning, excuse me. How are you going to accomplish your goal? So you might have your why, you might have your when, but if your idea is or your plan is to go into the gym and you don't have access to the gym, you only have access to a couple of dumbbells in your garage. Well, okay, maybe we're gonna have to rethink our strategy. So make sure that when you are formulating a plan, get into the gym, the park, work out at home, that you make a tangible goal that you can stick with, something that is acceptable. All right, some quick do's and don'ts. What not to do: work out every single day and try to work nonstop in order to get those goals. Unfortunately, life is not an anime. So we need to get comfortable. Exercise and weight training progress over time. Make sure that we're resting and recovering. You don't grow if you're not resting and recovering. If you're not resting and recovering, you're not going to progress. And if you're not going to progress, you're wasting time. Balance is key. So, just like I was saying, don't rush into things. Have a small plan at the beginning. Execute that plan. Make sure you take time to recover. set realistic timeline expectations. We get a bunch of people that come in saying, "Oh, here's what I want to look like," and they send a picture of someone with really good genetics that's been training for a decade, and they're like, "Do you think it's possible if I look like this in 6 months?" And the answer is almost always no. It's going to be really hard to, you know, create a decade-long physique in half a year. So be realistic. Know that things are going to take time. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Have a couple milestones, but don't try to do it all. So this is maybe set an initial weight goal. You're trying to lose fat, or I want to hit this bench by this month or this year. Little things like that keeps you motivated, keeps you on track, but you don't want to make too insane, too over the top that you either don't ever reach them or they're too far out of reach that you're not motivated. So now let's talk about some splits. Now I have mostly hypertrophy stuff in here. That's what I focus on as a trainer. Doesn't mean I don't program powerlifting from time to time, but they generally are very similar in structure. Now that being said, anything less than 4 day, we're gonna do less than 4 day split. Full body, upper, lower, upper, repeat, push, pull, full body. There's some examples, fairly popular ones. So the reason I have 1 to 4 days, or 1 to 3 days rather, because I personally believe that if you want the best results that you can get, you need to go at least 4 days a week. That is an optimized frequency, in my opinion, 4, 5, or 6. That is. Now, I have a client, an older gentleman in his late 50s, and he's seen great results from 2 to 3 times a week. Now, this is the first time in his life he's really trained. He's had a trainer in the past, but it wasn't the same style that I was training. So he's liking the progress that he's seeing. He's making real results, even within a few months. People are noticing. So it is possible to make noticeable change, even in a couple months with less than 4 days. But if you want to maximize the time you're putting in, 4, 5, or 6. Now, that being said, full body, you're working upper and lower 2 times a week. Very good. Upper, lower, upper. Next week would be lower, upper, lower. So you would alternate with 3 sessions. Let's make sure that at least every 2 weeks you're hitting everything 4 times. So ideally you want to hit everything 2 times a week. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. Every 2 weeks you're hitting something 3 times. So ideally every week you want to hit it twice. But if you only have 3 days that you can dedicate, that's a great split. Push pull full body. Now this is similar to upper lower full body. In this case, we're going to deviate from the traditional push pull legs. And push in this case is going to be the upper musculature system, so tricep, front side delt, chest, in addition to things like the quads and calves. And pull the same way. We're going to include things like hamstrings. Glutes will be hit mostly on push. There are a few pull you could do, like RDL, whatnot. So glutes are probably going to be hitting both, and then full body, you can kind of make up for the accessories. 4 day splits, upper, lower, classic. Perfect 4 day split, especially if you want to have focuses, so maybe like a chest upper, and then the next upper you do a back upper, and then the lower would be like quad focus, ham focus, something like that. Ensigns in 351, traditional, by the book, powerlifting routines, really great ones. If you don't see results with one, you try another. Again, success is going to vary for everyone. So just because a program might not work for you specifically, it doesn't mean it doesn't work for everyone. They're popular for a reason. Then we get into the 5-day splits. So this is where we can experiment a little, kind of Frankenstein stuff together. So we're going to see a good mix of upper lowers and PPLs, Arnold splits. So we got upper lower arms. This is a really great one. You can slide the rest days after the first lower and after the arm day. So if you started on a Monday, it would look like upper Monday, lower Tuesday, Wednesday rest, upper Thursday, lower Friday, Saturday arms, rest on Sunday. Now we have PPL, upper lower. I am a huge advocate for PPL. I love training PPL. Now, currently, I am doing a PPL upper lower because my schedule does not allow the 6 days. So I think that is a great substitution where you get really good push pull leg focus and then supplement a little the upper lower. Now another example could be Arnold. Arnold and PPL are very interchangeable. They just have different focuses and different pro cons. PPL is going to have a con on accessories like arms, for example. There's no direct movements. You might sprinkle them in with your other days, but you don't have a whole day dedicated. And now Arnold, chest and back generally suffer, the exception that arms excel. And for those that don't know, an Arnold split is chest and back on one day, arms, that includes shoulders, if you normally separate them. So bi, tri, forearm, shoulder, and then a leg day. I think 5-day splits have some of the most versatility out of any. 6 as well. And there are more splits beyond 6-day splits. I've ran an 8-day split before, so they can happen. They're pretty rare. You generally wouldn't find one online. I'm sure you could if you search hard enough, but generally 8-day splits are tailored towards recovery or a specific goal. Now we're 6-day classic push-pull legs twice a week, Arnold twice a week, and then a hybrid between the two. You could do a PPL X Arnold. Highest frequency, so that'll have the least amount of rest days throughout the week, but this will allow you to hit your muscles twice a week. In addition, the days that you are hitting different muscle groups allows the other ones to recover. So what do I mean by that? Let's say PPL, for example. So push day, we're hitting chest, some shoulder, tricep. When I say shoulder, a lot of front delt, some lateral, thigh delt. The next day we're doing pull. So we have bicep, back, rear delt. Completely different muscle groups from what we were hitting the day before. So why is this good? Muscles at rest on the days that we're not hitting them. In other words, on our pull day, we are not incorporating any push muscles. Majority of our movement. There can be exceptions, but layman's terms, those muscles are at rest while we get to work out still. And then you do legs and your entire upper musculature is at rest. So again, one reason I'm super fanboy for PPL, but so weights and cardio. Now, there is a fabled rumor that cardio kills gains. Hear it a lot. And I am here to tell you that it does not if it is low to medium impact and or high impact at low frequency throughout your. Now, if you are constantly doing high impact cardio, it may impact muscle gain. That being said, in the meat and potatoes. So, fatigue limitations are finite. What I mean by this is if you are training extremely hard in the gym and you're training extremely hard in cardio, hard in cardio, your fatigue is going to rack up very quickly because you're not giving your body a chance to recover. And high impact cardio is very demanding on the CNS. such as weightlifting. So the two paired together, you're just going to draw too much out of your body with no chance of giving recovery. So can we do it all? No. But how do we get balance? That's where I talk about low impact versus high impact. So let's say we're doing a 5-day split. Upper, lower arms. We have 2 rest days. Now, something we can choose to do is make one of those rest days active recovery, one of them full rest, or you really need to keep moving, one can be active recovery, and the other one can be a cardio day. So that really turns into a 6-day split. But now what happens is you're treating that, let's say it's after your second lower day, or more ideally after your arm day, choose to run a 5K every Sunday. You enjoy running, that's what you like to do, perfect. You're running once a week, you have days off, the other muscles that you're hitting, and on that Wednesday, you have a nice active recovery day where you do there's some nice walks outside or some swimming, both low impact, both really good for active recovery. Active recovery, they are not hitting above zone 1 cardio wise or heart rate wise. And the most important thing, aligning your workouts with your goals. So if your goal is to be as freaky and as big as possible, very unlikely that you're going to be incorporating a lot of high impact cardio. It is important to do year-round cardio, but you're going to do more leisurely things. Now, if your goal is to be more of an athlete, well, incorporating sprints and high impact cardio in addition to weight training might be ideal. However, you're not going to be doing this thing every single day of the week, or you're going to have rest days. And then, on the other hand, if you're an endurance athlete, you're going to be focusing much more on cardio and less in the weight room. Now, one of the most important things when it comes to keeping any habit and chasing any goal is consistency. Because if you're not consistent, then progress is hard to measure. When progress is hard to measure, we don't often see tangible results. So, 3 things I want to touch on. Defining the goals, like in the beginning. Make sure you know what you're doing at what time. So that doesn't mean I think I'm going to go to the gym today. It means I'm going to go to the gym before work. I'm going to go to the gym after work. I'm going to go to the gym at X time on this day. You have your week planned out. Obstacles. Make sure you have everything you need to ensure that workout happens ahead of time. Food, clothes, water, headphones, pre-workout, whatever it is you need. Say your commutes are an issue or something, at least sometimes here in the state with the poor infrastructure. So you might not have time to run back home. Make sure you have everything with you the night before. That way you can pack it up on your way to work, right after work, and hit the gym. No problem. So if you start forgetting stuff, well, I forgot my shoes, got my headphones. I'll just go tomorrow. With this inconsistency, start to develop poor and poor habits, and it'll start to derail your training over time. Now, last part, push. What do I mean by push? I'm not talking about PPO, but I'm talking about push yourself. Don't just go through the motions. Give yourself real relative effort. Try to push yourself as much as you can within your limitations. Do everything right, and you will see change. It'll take time. Don't lose faith, but you will see change over time as long as you're working hard and consistent. Now, going off of consistency, the other important factor, progression adaptation. So when I say push, what entails push? So the first section, make sure you're progressively overloading. Define your rep ranges, keep relative effort. Progressive overloading, for those that don't know, means increasing the weight every session, every 2 sessions, every 3 sessions. Try to add a little weight to the bar every session you have. Now, how do we do this safely? With rep ranges. So, a great rep range I love to recommend people new to the gym, 8 to 12 reps. Why are 8 to 12 reps good in my opinion? Well, the top end of the strength, recommended strength range is 8, and 12 reps falls right in the middle of the range for hypertrophy. So you're at the top end strength, and you're at the low to mid range for hypertrophy. You're getting a little bit of the best of both worlds while you develop. Now, how to progressively overload with this rep range. We have our 8 reps. Let's say we're doing 50 pounds on the bench. I do 50 pounds for 8 reps. The next week, I do 9 reps. The week after, I do 10 reps. The session after that, 11. And then I finally hit 12. I do 3 sets of 12 at 50 pounds. Well, where do I go from there? Do I add 13? So this is where I would recommend adding 2.5 or 5 pounds to the bar. Now, if your gym has smaller plates, you could be more technical. This is where I would recommend adding weight, and it reduces your rep range because it's harder and it's heavier, and you repeat the process. So you want to make sure you're within that rep range, that you're pushing yourself, and that over time you are progressing. Now for strategy number 2, consistency is key, as we mentioned. So if you stay consistent, you're incorporating adequate rest times, recovery days, you're going to be golden. So as I mentioned all the way in the beginning, you want days off. If you're not resting, you're not growing. As for adequate rest times, what I'm talking about there, if you're doing hypertrophy, compound movements, that means more than one joint, like bench press, cable row, barbell row, a lot of free weight movements. You want to make sure that those movements you have 1.5 to 3 minutes of rest time. Things like squat, bench, deadlift, you might need more, but gauge it off your body. If you're still panting by the end of your rest time, increase the rest time a little. Not the end of the world. And if you're feeling good a little bit beforehand, try to hold out. Wait that 1.5 minutes. You want to go in with a full battery. And for more of our strength-oriented people, can increase those rest times, 3, 5, rare occasions, 10, 15 minutes, if you got the time. And rest days, make sure you're following your program. Don't be sprinkling extra days. If you do wind up playing sports or something with some of your friends, make sure to account for that. Go to bed a little bit earlier. Make sure that diet's in check. Piggybacking off the diet, eat, sleep, train, repeat. Diet is going to be just as important as recovery. And both of these things are extremely important, sometimes more important than the training itself. You can train, you can be the hardest worker in the room, but if your diet and recovery aren't in check, no one would ever know. You're not going to be progressing. That being said, a lot of the questions we had when I initially did this, talking about I've been progressively overloading, but I'm not noticing physical change in my body. That is more than likely going to be the diet. The muscles adapt to strength, and they can become stronger without becoming bigger. There's a finite range for that, but it does happen. So if you're not getting bigger, it could be 2 things. 1, your diet's not in check. Now, if the scale isn't changing, but you notice physical changes, that's on the other end of the spectrum where generally training around maintenance or in a slight surplus, and you are losing body fat while gaining muscle. This is often denoted as people saying, quote, replace fat with muscle. Not exactly how it works, but mathematically speaking, that is how it works. I'm not a huge fan of that phrase, but I hear it a lot. Last but not least, do your best. You're going to be the only one that defines your success. So, you say you're doing your best, you're staying up till 4 a.m. playing Minecraft. Everyone does it once in a while, you know, that 2 weeks a year, but if you're saying you're doing your best, you're going to have to do a little better. Don't lie to yourself, don't lie to others. Stay honorable and true. Keep everything consistent, keep everything in check, and I promise you, you will see results. So, this is going to conclude the re-recording. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the questions forum. Just ping me. I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you.